Why hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Car Juice. Today I'm going to be giving you guys the squeeze on the 2024 BMW i5 eDrive 40i. I figured that this would be an excellent video to do because this car just has a lot of tremendous value, and there's a lot of really cool things on the i5 that were just slept on, and I feel like this car has not sold as well as it really should have with how cool it is. The i5 was brought into this world alongside the LCI of the 5 Series, the 530, 540, and they aren't really making the M550 anymore. So just 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, and then the electric model. This is the equivalent of the 530, but in the electric variant, making 335 horsepower with a 0 to 60 time somewhere in the 5s. So it's not too bad. This car is furnished in dark graphite metallic with 19-inch wheels on all 4 corners. I really like how this car is put together. My favorite thing about the i5 is this grille, however. So you can get this car with 2 separate styling kits. So this is the traditional sport line or luxury style model, and it still has the very cool illuminated kidney grille. You can get the kidney grille on the i5 all blacked out if you did want the M Sport package, and regardless, you are always going to have this like flat location here in the center. There's actually a radar sensor integrated right into that, and then your camera is right here above it. So there's so much going on in this grille. So it's illuminated on the outside. This pulses and will let you know that the vehicle is charging whenever that happens. And then you've got your radar sensor, which works in conjunction with those little cameras up here at the top of the windshield. So basically that makes the car able to do pretty much anything in terms of oh-crap braking, as well as doing adaptive cruise control, so it'll accelerate and decelerate depending on the traffic situation. And the i5 was the first car able to do our full level, almost basically level 2 autonomous driving, where the car will drive for you up to 85 miles an hour, which is quite cool. I believe that I mentioned it already, but the tires are a nice and important portion to mention on this vehicle. 245, 45, 19s. You can get 20-inch tires on this as well, which do look really, really good. These are going to get you that full 295-mile range that this car is equipped with, but these are non-run flat tires. BMW had committed to the run flat tire thing for about 15 to 20 years, depending on whenever you determine that they started that. My 2006 330xi had run flat tires, which was both a blessing and a curse because you don't have to pull over to the side of the road to fix them, but the run flat tires were much noisier than a non-run flat tire. So these are much quieter, and it's also much more environmentally friendly to do the non-run flat tires just because they don't take up as much rubber and they're a little bit easier to work with. The headlights are also quite nice. You've got this like angular pattern style to the headlight, very video game-esque, like BMW's new design language is going for. And then along the side of this car, the reason I think dark graphite's the best color for this vehicle is because the side skirts have this like cool graphite plastic trim that goes along the side. It's very futuristic and very cool. This vehicle, by the way, is equipped at $73,795, making this a pretty well-equipped 5 Series. The only option that it's really missing is the Sky Lounge package, so you're just going to have a traditional sunroof, which I prefer because this one opens and the Sky Lounge doesn't. The 19-inch wheel model does get slightly better fuel economy and fuel range, so the maximum range is 295 miles. Typical 8-hour charge time. This car does come with a level 1 and level 2 flexible fast charger, which is very important, as I would recommend that you lease this. And if you're leasing, you need to know whether or not you're going to commit to it. So since they provide the charger for you anyway, you might as well just hold on to it and lease it and then give it back at the end of the 3 years if you decide the EV is good for you. Or if you want to go back to the electric world, or not the electric world, the gas world, you are not committed and married to this charger. So you've got your level 2 220 plug here, which is actually a great back scratcher on slow days at the dealership, which is quite nice. And then you've got your level 110 charger, and basically those just plug into the side of this cable. If you're doing your research, this is about a 15-foot cable, and that by sticking with that, you're saving yourself $600 compared to a BMW wall box or an affiliated wall box, which typically runs about $400. The trunk does have a power close feature, but before I close it up, I want to show you guys that you could fit myself in here about 4 or 5 times, which is quite nice. I basically am at full extended sideways in this car, and there's still plenty of room in the back of this trunk. So quite a big trunk. If you're going golfing with your buddies, this is an excellent car for that purpose. The 5 Series has always been kind of a quintessential part of the business world, so a great car for a traveling salesperson, just because the fuel expenses are going to be so low. And if you are just very close, or you work in a hybrid schedule where you're not going into the office all the time, this is a great car for you, especially with that very, very cheap lease option that they have. The rear seats also do fold down with the push of one button. So speaking of rear seats, let's go ahead and close this trunk up and pop into the back. I don't know if you noticed, but the taillights are quite nice. You got these LED taillights here on the rear, which look quite cool, and overall just very stylish. Sitting in the back seat of the car with the driver mode set at the 5'8" driving position, you are rocking about 10 inches on the patent pending Peter meter in the back seat of the car, so there's plenty of space there, and then you're rocking probably about 3 or 4 inches on headroom as well, so not too bad whatsoever. In the back, you do have the travel setting, so you can actually plug in either a little tray table or a coat hanger, various different accessories available on BMWUSA.com. So those are all here for you at a moment's reach, or a moment's notice. You can kind of plug those into the back and work out of the back of your car without too much difficulty. And then you also have 4 USB Type-C chargers in the back seat of the car, so you'll never be without a charger whenever you need it most. The Harman Kardon sound system is standard and looks really good, especially in the back seat. I love this like silver outline. The one thing that I will say is whenever you get these, make sure that you kind of turn the mid up on the system, as from the factory it is a little bit light, and then also turn the bass up just a little bit too. It is a legit Harman Kardon sound system, and it does sound pretty good. You can also get the Bowers & Wilkins for, I believe, about $950. So the Bowers & Wilkins does sound a little bit better, but the Harman Kardon is not too bad at all. Before we transition to the inside of the vehicle, I do want to mention that this has arrow-based type door handles, so they look really cool, and they just stuck into the side of the car. Just quite nice overall. The steering wheel is also a flat bottom. All of our new cars are going to have this flat bottom, which is really, really nice. And it also makes it very easy to take road trips with this thing, because you can just rest your hand at the bottom of the wheel. Super, very convenient. And then you've got the dark graphite trim on the inside here. I like this trim way more than the aluminum rhombus wool trim. It just is very simple, and it allows the ambient lighting to shine. You've got 17 different colors to choose from, and you can do those at pretty much any time. Let's go ahead and turn that car on here. And once you get the car going, you're gonna notice the lights brighten up a little bit more, and then you also even have some extra lighting down here in the center console, a new and improved wireless charger for your phone. Speaking of charging, you get 2 years of free charging with Electrify America. I don't want to put that too far in the video, because I want you guys to know that the 24s get free charging for 2 years, and then the 25s get free charging for 2 years, but limited to 1,000 kilowatts. So definitely pick up a 24 if you can, because there's gonna be good deals for them, and they get that really good charging incentive. There's a little vent on the side of the phone charger. I think I mentioned that already, but it's just very important, as it does make the charging experience much better for your phone. Let's go up to our little charging station button here. And what's nice with the i5 and all of our electric vehicles is, as you zoom out, it'll actually tell you more or less how far you can go on a single charge. So if I had, let's see, so if I'm like navigating, for example, to Chicago, oops, let's just pick out something random. It doesn't have to be Chicago. Parking lots. So go to Big Lots, and then as I have my destination started, I can actually zoom out, and it'll tell me what range I can go to. I guess it has to be a farther away portion. Basically, there's a big blue bubble that'll show up on the outside of the car whenever you have your navigation going, which is quite nice, because you can basically figure out where you need to go and how far you'd be able to get there. And it also will always tell you your range in the bottom corner here. Right now it's saying 211 miles at 90%, but that's because this thing is sitting at a dealership lot, which is like the worst possible situation for
turn right
a
and
car.
then immediately turn right.
Turn that off. But since we're already on the inside, I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys up there, and also put you guys right there, and take you guys on a quick spin. All right, so in the driver's seat of the BMW i5, you are in probably one of the best cabins BMW has put together in quite some time. Like, I really love pretty much everything about the new 5 Series. Especially this dark graphite trim this car is equipped with. I've previously mentioned that the aluminum rhombus trim on the 540 M Sport that I drove a couple of weeks ago was very hard in terms of visibility whenever you are, in a very sunny location. The dark graphite trim doesn't have the same issue where you're going to get blinded if the sun hits the metal trim inside of the car at just the right angle. That was a really distracting thing for me. Yeah, obviously all of the new 5 Series are come standard with blind spot monitoring and all this other good stuff. Low gap braking in front of collision mitigation, as it's called by the market, but it's just one of those things that you just don't really need to have to worry about whenever you're spending, $80,000 or $70,000, $80,000. Standard features like, low crap braking, that should just be a thing. But I just absolutely love how this specific car is laid out. It's got all the perfect lighting. It's got the extra crystal interior trim. And then the only thing that I wish is that it could have the more aggressive, all-wheel drive setup. That model did come out after this one did. And if you guys are interested in this particular vehicle, it is available for sale at my dealership, and there are tons of incentives. Ask for Caleb if you're in the market for a new i5, obviously, because that's me. Really big fan of this car, however, and it's just overall the chassis is fantastic. It's very linear in how it handles and moves versus a lot of previous, like the 530 and stuff like that, felt very underpowered. Even the 530 on this one, when you throw it into sport mode, it just is very playful. And this car being rear-wheel drive, throw it into my modes, throw it on to sport with the MDM traction selected, and it is just an absolute ball. The drive assist professional package that I mentioned earlier is quite nice because it does help the vehicle read stop signs and stuff like that in front of you. So it will actually start to decelerate if there's a vehicle in front of you, or if there's a stop sign that's going up on one side of the road. So the car is going to constantly be reading what's going on around you. If you look down here in the center console, because I have the drive assist professional package available, I can actually select content and I can actually go to an augmented reality mode. So it will actually read the road in front of me and it will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if there was somebody, coming up in front of me, it will actually target them and it will let me know basically that, hey, I'm slowing down because I see X, Y, and Z. That's also what allows them to do with the hands-free driving so cleanly and to do that consistently and change and all that other cool stuff. In terms of power and acceleration, the 335 horsepower is perfect. Again, the 389 in the all-wheel drive model is really nice. But the 335 is great because you do pick up, marginally extra range, an extra of like 5 to 15 miles depending on what wheels you get. I did mean to mention that earlier, that if you go for the larger wheels, the car does have a little bit less range than otherwise equipped with the smaller wheels. Just smaller, less weighty wheels with more aerodynamics is going to allow you to get better range. On a gas car, you just don't think about those things because you can fill up for fuel anywhere, but wheels always affect range. It's not just a thing that affects EVs. In terms of warranty, the i5 does have plenty of warranty. All of our cars have an 8-year, 80,000 mile warranty on our batteries and that kind of stuff. And then you have free service for 3 years and 4 years of warranty. So if you release this car, you won't have to worry about a single thing. You're a low-mile driver, other than possibly like picking up some like wheel and tire protections or anything like that, which is a nice thing to consider if you are into purchasing warranties and stuff like that. But talk to your client advisor about that at a later date. The infotainment system is really nice. I like how the infotainment does feature kind of like the crystal controls. The iDrive controller is a little bit small, which can be a little bit frustrating if you're used to the older cars. It's a little bit wider and a little bit fatter, so it's easier to grab on the older cars compared to this one. Just because it's like so thin, it's like a tiny little wafer. But the i4 and i5, all of these other vehicles are able to actually predict where your nearest charging stations are. Most customers we are finding prefer to charge at home, but if you do want to
charge out and about, the vehicle is capable of helping you to find different chargers located in your area. Through Electrify America, you get 2 free years with the 2024 models. The 2025s, it's 2 free years or 1,000 kilowatts. You're not the same. So just keep that in mind. If you're shopping for deals, definitely consider the 2024s. There are a handful of these still left around, and the i5 is just a very smooth, excellent daily driver. The dashboard has a very soft touch to it, and then the headliner is pretty typical, like what you find in a lot of other products. But overall, the i5 feels very premium and is one of my favorite cars that we make. I wish that it was a little bit less expensive, maybe like in like the $68,000 to $69,000 range. However, with all of the different rebates and stuff like that are available, you can get one of these for a very, very affordable monthly lease payment. And again, like I said on the i4 video, you are going to want to lease these cars because they do depreciate pretty heavily. So protect yourself. Look into leasing instead of purchasing one of these vehicles. But overall, the i5 definitely gets my vote of confidence, not just as a client advisor, but as an automotive enthusiast, because the chassis is so good, it's so fun, and there's a lot of great tech inside of the car. Namely, one of the other nice tech features of this vehicle is how easy it is to park and maneuver it. For a midsize sedan, you can fit this thing into pretty much any spot. It's got 4K cameras on all 4 corners, and it's capable of doing self-parking in your garage or in a like traditional manner where you're going to be going through a very habitual location where you're always parking in the same spot. It'll just pick it up off of GPS and then park where exactly you want it for you all the way on its own. But yeah, I know there was a ton of information in a very short period of time. If you guys have any questions on the vehicle, please leave a comment down in the video comments below, and I will do my best to respond to every single comment that you guys put in there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.